Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the program. Today is April 27 in the year 2023. Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? It's election time. Election time in America. Almost election time. You got another year and a half to pick your president. Who will the president be? Will it be Joe Biden? Will it be Donald J. Trump? It looks like the Democrats are up to their old tricks. Old tricks, Democrats, old tricks. Iowa and New Hampshire, you're racist. You're racist states. We're going to let South Carolina, where the blacks are, go first. And no primary for you. The primary has been canceled. Democratic primary canceled. Good morning, everybody. Check. Wait for the stream to kick in. How you doing, everybody? All right, Scotty reporting. How are you, man? How are you? Welcome to the end of April. It's cold here in Northeast Pennsylvania, 46 degrees and clouds. I can't get a break here with the sunshine. It's cold. Plants are confused. The plants are very confused. You put plants out, and they're like, "It's too cold out here. Can we go back inside?" And you say, "Okay, go back inside." So Democratic Party, let's talk about it. It seems that the Democratic Party is officially not having a Democratic primary debate. They're having a Democratic primary, but there'll only be one candidate. That's to plug their guy. I guess there will be a primary election. I don't know. No debates, though. The debates are over. Primary election, there's no, according to the Democrats, there's no real challenger coming forth. The candidate is Joe Biden. Therefore, there is no precedence when the incumbent president, all right, this is how it works. If there's an incumbent president in a party, Democratic president, is running in his own party for president, there is no primary. Never has been, never will be. Or I shouldn't say never will be, but there never has been for Republicans or Democrats. You already have your pick. You already picked them the last time. So why do you want to listen to anybody else? So that the notion that the Democrats are canceling the primary is not completely fair. They're just not having it because they already have their pick, Joe Biden, 82 years old. They got the black woman ready right behind him to stick her in there where Joe Biden once was, the puppet Kamala Harris, it seems. And, so we'll do that. We'll look at that too. But what's interesting is Iowa and New Hampshire have always been bellwethers in primaries to tell how their candidate is doing. And the Democrats have cunningly, for lack of a better word, removed Iowa and New Hampshire from the first round of primaries. They're pushing for Iowa to not even go, Iowa to go way later, and New Hampshire to go a full 3 days after none other than South Carolina. So there's a bit of confusion there. Why would they do that? Well, it's simple, because in 2020, Joe Biden got his ass kicked in New Hampshire and Iowa. Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg and the rest were championing that crowd up there in Iowa and New Hampshire. And it seems that, so that's inconvenient for Joe Biden. So they switched it out with a place that historically will never, ever go blue, South Carolina. It's a conservative red state. But there's a lot of blacks there that get very excited over something. It's a state where Democrats can manipulate it. They can guarantee they play the race card. They go after the blacks. They're in the process of going after Trump as a racist. They're going a rapist. Excuse me, racist. A rapist. So the Democratic strategy is to vilify the Republicans as, of course, racist and not for them. Go after and anti-woman, misogynist, of course, and go after the black vote in South Carolina first, and see if it trickles down to votes elsewhere. It's a bad strategy, actually. Hillary Clinton tried that, and it won her. It won her the primary per se, but the Democratic primary, where Hillary Clinton focused on the Deep South and all the black states where she won, was really fiction, because the Democratic primary elections are fake. They're controlled by the Democratic Party and such. So, but in a general, it's really hard to say. In a general election, in the primary, does that make the question is, by the Democrats switching out the New Hampshire and Iowa for South Carolina, does it make them look better to their electorate? Because that's all that really matters. All those numbers don't matter. The only thing that matters is Joe Biden is the pick on one side, Donald Trump's the pick on the other side, and there's a general election. Now, is the general election rigged, manipulated, fucked with, fudged, bought and sold? It's probably a lot of those things, but the primary really doesn't matter. It's all perception. And the Democrats are announcing their perception that Iowa and New Hampshire are basically white bloc racist places, and we're going to South Carolina. Thank you very much. So I'll take a start here. This is my thumbnail. Joe Biden screaming, yelling. Is this your leader? This is your leader. For there he is, and he looks like he's going to be he's the Democratic candidate again. If you're tuning into this program, never listen to what I'm saying. I am saying, and am predicting that Joe Biden will. The way it'll go is Joe Biden is clearly going to run, or the Democratic Party is clearly going to run Joe Biden. He's going to campaign very little. He's going to do mostly fucking shit from the White House. He's not going to go out on the campaign trail and bang around. He's going to conserve his energy, right, because he's 82. And Trump's going to be out there filling up stadiums. Joe Biden's going to be out there, I don't know, doing I don't know what. And then if he wins, the same story last time. If he wins, then he wins, and then they install at some point Kamala Harris. If he fails, what happens? If Joe Biden loses, what happens? Trump's obviously the president. I never thought about that, really. But anyway, we'll talk about this fascinating futuristic election that hasn't happened yet and won't happen for another year and a half. But it's already jockeying for position. Right now in New York, they're going after Trump as a rapist. He's a racist and a rapist. He raped somebody. This E. Carroll lady from Ella magazine. That trial is picking up in New York. We'll have a look at that. Marcus Conte, I have a website every morning at 9 a.m., educational, philosophical, and thoroughly and utterly scientific show every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Plus, every Tuesday evening, we do a Dharma gathering, a meditation kind of thing to quiet one's mind. Both Republicans and Democrats are invited to that. Whether you're a progressive, a conservative, a Democrat, a Republican, a whatever the hell you call yourself, Antifa, MAGA, come on down, man. Let your mind rest. So let's start here. So Jean Carroll, you want to see her at 82 years old? This is what Trump allegedly raped. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? 82 years old. She could barely walk at this point, and she's crying rape. She's saying Trump raped me. They're in front of Epstein Court. That's 500 Pearl Street. That's the entrance, 500 Pearl Street. That's the Chinatown Park across the street, where I have stood and chased people down many times before. So let's find out what happened in the courtroom. Jean Carroll testified she can still feel the pain. Choked up in Manhattan federal court on Wednesday as she re-encountered Donald Trump allegedly raping her in a Bergdorf Goodman fitting room nearly 3 decades ago. The roughly 5 hours on the witness stand. Wow. 79 years old, she became emotional a few times, culminating with sobbing about finally being able to get her day in court. Oh, she got a day in court. I regret this about 100 times, Carroll said, after her lawyers asked her if she wished she hadn't come forward with her claims. But in the end, she continued, crying, being able to get my day in court finally is everything to me, so I'm happy. I'm being facetious here because I don't believe any of it. I believe that she was some flirtatious reporter luring Trump in. Trump, the billionaire celebrity, comes across the street to Bergdorf Goodman to buy some shit for his wife. And here's this reporter, and they talk, and maybe there was a kiss, maybe there was a move, maybe they did go into the little dressing room there for a second, a little smooch and a kiss and a grab and a tug. Who knows what happened? But I would rest assured 100% that anything that this woman and Donald Trump did in a dressing room in a fucking public store was completely consensual and or didn't even happen. It was just flirtatious, and that's how people were in the 90s. Hey, let's slip into the dressing room and make out. The makeout room. At the worst, that's what this story is. And this lady, 35 years later, is coming forward saying, "Oh, he took advantage of me. He took advantage of me." I mean, the allegations are pretty fucking, bad. So Carroll said she thought at the time that the encounter would make a great story. He said, "Let's try this on," and motioned towards the dressing room, Carroll recalled. Once inside, Trump closed the door and shoved her against the wall, bumping her head, she claims. Carroll pushed him back, but shoved her a second time, knocking her head again and pinning her against the wall before pulling her tights down, Carroll testified. Trump then allegedly raped Carroll before she was finally able to break free after she managed to lift her knee and shove him off. She told the jury it was very stupid of her to walk into a changing room, noting the door was open. This is first of all, it's preposterous that this case is even in court. Trump doesn't have to respond and or be there or anything. It's a civil case. There's no criminal charge here at all. It's just some gold digger old lady going after a couple of $1 million of Trump money claiming, making it up, creating this illusion in her head that Trump raped her. Carroll said, while an ex-husband had physically abused her and a camp counselor had molested her when she was 12, after both, she was still able to carry on with her love life. And now she's claiming that with Trump, she can't do that. She's never had a normal as Trump, has never had a normal sex life because of this animal. All right, so this is part of the Democratic strategy. They've got a woman who says Trump raped her. They've got a racist black DA in New York, two of them, Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, both alleging criminal lawsuits, criminal cases against Trump. There's the Stormy Daniels hush money involved in that as well, and whatever other case that they're throwing at Trump right now. But this is part of the Democratic strategy to smear the other guy, and let's not talk about our guy. The less we talk about Biden and his quid pro quo in the Ukraine, Trump's going to come out the door and say, look, Ukraine was fine. Who destabilized Ukraine? Who caused the problem in Ukraine? Who caused the power vacuum in Ukraine? It was the Democrats who accused the president, Zelensky, of siding with Trump. You remember when they did that? They said, you guys had a phone conversation, and Trump asked Zelensky to look into Biden's history of quid pro quo and dealing with oligarchs in the country. You remember what Trump did? Trump inquired about corruption at the highest levels of government. And Zelensky was like, I don't know. I don't remember anything. I don't know anything, right? And for that, the Democrats created a fictitious impeachment of Donald Trump. And Zelensky was thereby vilified and or a Trump puppet, according to the Democrats. So then Putin turns around and says, well, there's no more American support there. Let's just take it back. That's what happened. So who caused the debacle at the highest levels of government? Who caused that debacle in Ukraine? The United States did. We gave them cover. We were their ally. We were their friend. Then Trump advanced that idea, and the Democrats vilified him and, vilified the president over there. The country falls. And now it's Trump's fault. It's somebody else's fault. And now we got to give him $1 trillion to get him out of the hole. But those are some of the things that the Democrats are responsible for. So do Democrats plan to cancel presidential primary debates? Well, technically, there are not going to be primary debates. No Marianne, no JFK, RFK, no Bernie. No Elizabeth, nothing, no Tulsi, no conflicting ideas whatsoever. You get one contestant, and that contestant is Joe Biden, Democratic Party. Why? Because he's the incumbent president, and he's going to win. So President Joe Biden formally announced he will seek reelection with his 3-minute MAGA extremist ad. Although Newsweek reached out to the Democratic Party after confirming it, Democratic Party has no plans to sponsor primary debates. Well, again, they never do because they have the incumbent president. Although Kennedy and Marianne, best-selling authors, are running, no major figures, I love how Newsweek reports, no major figures within the current Democratic establishment have indicated a challenge to Biden for the 2024 primary. What is a major, what qualifies as a major figure? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not a major political figure. Kennedy family is not a major player. Come on, man. Of course he is. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, how are Democrat voters okay with this? Your own party is telling you that you have no choice, and they refuse to even give you a choice. They should just go ahead and call themselves the Democratic Communist Party. Now, that's not really fair, Marjorie. It's not really fair to say that because, you're a politician. You know that if there's an incumbent president, you don't have a primary. But your own party is telling you that you have no choice. It's just not true. Here's a guy, Matt Wallace, has 1 million followers on Twitter. If Democrat leaders move ahead with their plan to cancel the primary debate in 2024, it will mark the end of democracy in America. Now, I guess if you say that to half the population, they would say, oh, yeah, Democrats, they canceled their primary. But they didn't really. They didn't really. Again, precedence is nobody... right. Despite Green's suggestion that the lack of Democratic primary debate is communist, there is no history of either main party organizing primary debates when they have an incumbent in the White House seeking a second term. So there's nothing really shady about not having a Democratic primary. You could argue that what's shady about it is running an 82-year-old senile guy by getting Biden to not bow out, which would be fairly easy for the Democrats to do. The Democrats could easily pressure Biden to step aside. If all the Democrats, the major figures, the people of inside influence, the Beltway crowd, decided that the money would like to see a change. And Joe, please step aside, and we'll give you a golden parachute on the way out. Joe Biden would have done that, but it seems that the strategy is get Biden in. Obviously, you want to win the presidency. Can Biden beat Trump? Yes, he can. Can he get more votes? I don't know what that means anymore. But can Biden be declared the winner at the end of the night? Yes, he can, because he did it the last time, right? And that's it. So from there, once you have the White House, and even if he's incompetent, he can then be pressured to step aside, hand the reins over to Kamala Harris. That could happen in the form of a pseudo stroke. Oh, the president has had a stroke. Breaking news, Washington Post. President Biden is in the hospital with a stroke. He doesn't know what day it is. Some kind of strategy like that. Meanwhile, he's sipping cappuccino somewhere on a beach. And then you usher in the pick. So there were no GOP organized primaries ahead of 2004 with George Bush. Nothing with Reagan. Democratic Party didn't run any primary debates in 2012 with Obama, nor did President Bill Clinton take part in any Democratic committee-run debates ahead of 1996. So the precedence for debates when there's an incumbent president with the Democrats is zero. Now, are the Democrats satisfied with that alone? No. Now they're going to go one step further, and they're going to manipulate the primary so that Iowa and New Hampshire don't go first, because that's where they keep all the white people that vote for whites or somebody, or Republicans. So here's the story. Democratic Party completely rewritten primary calendar. Is this election interference? No, it's changing the rules while the ball is up in the air. Right? That's what the Democrats do. If the situation doesn't favor the Democratic Party, they change the rules from the inside and then say, no, this is for the good of all of us. We have to do this. Meanwhile, there's insurgent. It steps on insurgent candidates like Robert F. Kennedy, Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson. Whoever comes up the ladder behind the incumbent is successfully stifled. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. So say goodbye to early states like Iowa and New Hampshire. Remember when we gathered around the television to see what Iowa and New Hampshire had to say about the presidential candidates? Well, this time, Joe Biden's announcement of his candidacy, released Tuesday, is the incumbent's fourth bid for the Democratic nomination for presidency. It will not only it will not be. It will be not only Biden's first run for president as the presumptive nominee, but also the first without Iowa and New Hampshire firmly set at the top of the primary calendar. So there you go. It is now confirmed. It is confirmed. And why? What's I had a big point that I wanted to make on this. I forgot what it was. I had a big point. Just bear with me. Complaints have ranged from traditional. Okay, so here's the reason. Why did they do it? Why did they remove Iowa and New Hampshire from the initial voting? It's because Joe Biden, as I said, did horribly in New Hampshire and Iowa. But let's listen to the report from Vox. The change would remake the presidential primary calendar, with the Plemento state going first on February 3rd. That's South Carolina, followed by New Hampshire and Nevada on February 6th. So they've pushed New Hampshire back 3 days. Then Georgia, another black place. These are places that they're not going to win. They're not going to win in South Carolina. They're not going to win in Georgia, but they're going to do it anyway because it plays to the black crowd. And Michigan on February 27. So there's no precedence for that. For 75 years, the Democrats have been the parties have been in Iowa and New Hampshire first up. So the Democrats now feel those complaints have ranged. The complaints about Iowa and New Hampshire have ranged from the fact that the traditional early states are, quote, insufficiently racially diverse. So there you have it. Marcus Scotty reporting Iowa and New Hampshire removed because they are insufficiently racially diverse, according to the Democrats. There are not enough blacks or not enough radicalized lefties to want to be there. So they're now that's almost like a smear. Right? They're insufficiently racially diverse in their perchment for rewarding to their penchant for rewarding anti-establishment candidates to the specific details of the state election process. So Iowa, New Hampshire, translated, has an open mind and a caucus process up there that they listen and you know, even if candidates are running, you know, RFK could still be on the clock. He could still be on the list, but who's going to pay attention to him without any debates? The debates have been canceled. So by the time you get to these states, right, all you're going to have heard is Biden, Biden, Biden. If RFK if they can get out in front of the cameras, you may have heard of them. But basically, all you're going to do is see a name on a piece of paper without any debate, without knowing their agenda. You know, most people don't do the homework before they vote. They watch the commercials. They watch the debates. And since there are none, that's the way it's going to go. But there you have it. Democrats have declared New Hampshire and Iowa as insufficiently racially diverse. That should be the fucking headline right there. Insufficiently racially diverse, right? Not diverse enough. Why won't this work? The big problem is that there is up to individual states to schedule primary elections. All right, so the DNC, it's not a slam dunk on this. The DNC will still have pushback from those states. And that's really, look, that's all I wanted to say about it. I wanted to inform that there is no Democratic primary debate because there is an incumbent president. That seems to be clear. The Democrats are now pushing into who is going to be, what states, what's the lineup of states that they control. It's such bullshit to even talk about. I feel like I'm falling into the trap of talking about an election, a Democratic primary, that is fake from the bottom to the top. The shit is rigged. Maybe not the initial states like Iowa and New Hampshire, which they just got rid of, but certainly South Carolina, New York, California, right, and the like. The big blue blocks, right, are clearly and unequivocally in favor of the Democrats, and whatever candidate they put up. So there you go. I hope that's helpful. I'm gonna kill that discussion there. Let's see what the markets are doing. We're open for 8 minutes. It looks like the market's going up, and futures are up, and boom. We're up this morning. Tech leading the way. Thank you very much. U.S. economy grew 1.1% in Q1 in sign of slowdown. So economy, there's economic numbers indicating that the economy is in fact slowing down a little bit, but technology is not going to skin off the ball. Really. Look at Facebook. Facebook is up $30 a share to $240. Holy shit. Apple, the magnificent Apple is up $2.18. Amazon up $3. Google up $1.50. Meta, formerly Facebook, up $30.88 a share. 14% bump in one day on blowout earnings, I imagine. Microsoft as well, back up to 300, up $3.89. Rivian up 18 cents. PPL, new company I'm covering that makes is involved in lithium refining for batteries of EV powered cars. Up 16 cents. Tesla down 63. What else we got? Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, war stocks flat. No, both up. Excuse me. Lockheed Martin up $1. Raytheon up 34 cents. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, the people who give you the injection that you need to take to keep yourself safe. That holy vaccine, right? That so many people love and others hate. They're all down right now. They seem to be flat and or down right now. So people are abandoning the holy vaccine. And so that's all I got today on this fascinating elections in our country, how everything changes. Everything is always in flux, you know, like these rules here, they're inconvenient. So can we just change the fucking rules in the primary? And we don't need a conflicting opinions. Just vote for Joe Biden, man. It's good. He's good for you. Just swallow the pill, man. Swallow that pill and vote for Joe Biden, because Donald Trump is a racist and a rapist and a felon. He's bad. Vote for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is good. Joe Biden is for you. Hey, blacks, vote for our guy. Vote for our guy. Peace, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting.